How I pre-approve clients for their home loan. The pre-approval is the most important piece to the entire process between the day that you decide that you want to find a home and buy it to the day that your contract is submitted to underwriting for review. It is the loan officer's responsibility to ensure that they put forth due diligence and look at all of the key variables, the characteristics that go into your application as a home buyer to ensure that your home loan application does not get denied once it's in underwriting. It is so important for the loan officer to do these next few steps that I'm about to explain to you, because if they don't, and as the home buyer, your loan gets denied in underwriting, you're gonna lose a lot of money. And here are the things that you could lose. So when you make an offer, you usually put down earnest money once the offer is accepted. It's just like a good faith deposit. That can be $500. I've seen it as high as $30,000. That deposit expresses your sincere intent to purchase that property. In addition to that, you're likely going to pay for an appraisal. That can be anywhere from $600 to, I've seen appraisals as high as $1,200, depending on the area that you're looking to purchase in. Plus, you're going to have various inspection fees. If there's a well on the property, if there's a septic tank on the property, you'll likely want to get a home inspection. That could be another $400 to $1,200, depending on the different types of inspections that you get. The reason I'm explaining all of these fees are because these are out-of-pocket expenses. These are fees, bills that you will pay as the home buyer while in process of buying the home before the loan is actually approved. So if you have a loan officer that does not issue you a legitimate pre-approval and you spent $2,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 in the process only to find out that they didn't put forth their due diligence and the underwriter denies your loan, you could lose all of that money. These are the things that you should expect your loan officer to ask you for when they're pre-approving you. First is just going to be it's a mortgage application. They're going to pull your credit. They're going to look at how much income you state that you make, how long you've been employed, how much money you have in assets. Are you planning to make a down payment? Do you have enough money for a down payment? Do you have enough money to cover all of the closing costs? If your credit is good and the application looks great, they will likely still follow up for points of clarification. If you changed jobs a few times, or if you're self-employed, or if you have rental properties, they should be asking these questions. Additionally, they're going to begin requesting documentation. So your pay stubs, your bank statements, your W-2s, your federal tax returns, copies of your mortgage statement or statements if you have any mortgages. They're going to need all of that information. They cannot issue you a solid, legitimate pre-approval letter without looking at all this documentation to make sure that your application and supporting documentation meets the guidelines for underwriting approval. If you happen to have any unique scenarios to your file, that loan officer may likely ask the underwriter to look at everything just to make sure everything is good to go. Even though it might take an extra couple of days to do so, it is well worth your time to wait, because it could be preventing you from getting your loan denied later in underwriting after you've spent all of this money. After the loan officer has looked at your application, they've verified all that information that you've submitted, they've reviewed all of your documentation, and they got back to you, and everything looks good, debt to income is solid, assets is good, there's a good plan of attack. At that point, that's when they're going to release that pre-approval letter and let you know how much you're pre-approved for, which doesn't in any way mean you have to spend that much if you don't want to. And they should be explaining to you what that pre-approval equates to as far as a monthly payment, including taxes and insurance, as well as going over all of the estimated closing costs in order to complete the transaction. Many lenders, especially in this market today, they're doing everything they can. They are desperate for business, so they're going to be more likely to release a pre-approval letter to a prospect client to try and keep their business without actually making the client feel like they have to jump through hoops to provide all that documentation. If your loan officer is issuing you a pre-approval letter without asking for any documentation, my advice would be to run from that lender. Find another lender who is going to ask for all that documentation and make sure you have a solid pre-approval letter. If you'd like to learn more about the pre-approval process, it can be fast, it can be easy, it can take 10 minutes. A lot of it just depends on how quickly you fill out the application and provide the documentation to the loan officer. If you'd like to learn more, contact me. If you don't have a loan officer, contact me. I've taken more than 10,000 applications. I've seen a lot of credit reports, and I've looked at a lot of federal tax returns and W-2s and pay stubs and bank statements. I'll be able to let you know if you're pre-approved, and if so, how much, what that translates into for a monthly payment, and wish you the best of luck and help you with your home search. I could even set you up with a real estate agent that's in the area that you're looking to purchase in if you don't already have one.